Hey guys, Black Slice coming back at you again with Kingdom Hearts for the first time in 3 months. So I was gonna release more videos, but then what had happened was I realized a lot of people already posted the videos that I wanted to post. So I'm just gonna calm down and I wanted to start again when the hype started rising again. And as of today, we got a new trailer. So I'm not gonna show the trailer on this video, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you guys what they've added to the game, part by part. So let's get started.
So the first scene that we see here is actually the scene that we've seen before. It's essentially Sora and the gang looking up at the Demon Tide, and the Demon Tide basically kills them. It takes their body and their heart and it separates them. And Sora has to go back and save everyone. The difference here is that the video is that scene, but the audio and I guess the text that they show is the text for a new cutscene. Essentially, this is Sora talking to Charthy, and Charthy says, "Listen, your heart already went back in time, and now it exists in this new timeline." I'm thinking it's something like the Avengers movie Endgame. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched that. Essentially, not Sora. If you make a new timeline and if you go to the past, make a new timeline, your original timeline doesn't change. You just add a new branch, but that's not your timeline, that's a different timeline. The only way that they could fix that is by adding new Infinity Stone. So I think in this case, it's the same idea. Sora lived part of her timeline, went back in time, and is essentially living out a new timeline where him and the people have survived. Now, my other thought for this scene is possibly that this is where Sora and I guess this is Charity talking to Sora, telling him your heart has gone back in time, so possibly to the time of Union Cross. But this is the more doubtful part. I don't think this is actually what's happening. This is something else. I'm more likely leaning to the first part where it's just them saying your heart has gone back in time. You're now gonna live a new timeline fighting the Organization 13. This next part actually has me really hyped, and it's not because of Kyrie. Never because of Kyrie. I'm joking. I'm joking. But listen carefully. This could be one of two things, and the second thing is what has me really hyped. It could, first of all, be showing us what happens when Kyrie and Axel first meet Sayax and Shion, because those are the people that they were fated to fight during the Cubic Graveyard battle. That's one of the things that it could be, just be a prequel. Or this is showing us how the game is going to continue. So originally in the game, we play as Sora, and we come and save everyone in all battles for some reason. What I'm thinking is happening here, which has me really excited, is that Sora is no longer going to participate in any of these battles. The people that they fight are the people that they fight. So essentially, Kyrie and Axel are going to fight Lee and Shion. Wow, Kyrie and Axel are going to fight Lee and Sayax. I said, anyways, and that's all that's going to happen there. And maybe at some point at the end of that scene, Sora's going to show up, and that's when Xemnas is going to kidnap. That's when Xemnas is going to kidnap Kyrie. Now, I'm thinking that Sora now is going to run off to try saving Kyrie, and then you get to battle as Axel, Roxas, or Shion. And that's what has me really hyped right now, because now Sora is not the only person that's happening in the scenes. Now, all right. So the next thing that has me really hyped is this organization battle. So they show us two organization battles. One of them is Vanitas, the other one is Lushu or Zigbar. We're gonna call him Zigbar because this is still Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm gonna assume we haven't gotten that reveal yet. Essentially, this is gonna be like give me a second, Cavern of Remembrance. Essentially, you get to fight against all of the organization members again, and this time they're gonna be really difficult to fight. And it looks like in this case, you get to fight them 1v1, which is freaking fantastic. And actually, if you do watch the video and you zoom in on the scenes, you get to see Sora holding the Oblivion, and it looks like Oblivion has the ability of barrier. So basically, you don't have to. It's not like Sora's regular block, which is just blocking the front. This block is actually going to block as a barrier around you, like what Aqua has or what Sora has with with Nano Gear or Nano Tech. Yeah. Another thing that I noticed in the fight against Zigbar is that they might have added the reaction commands again. because it looks like Sora and Zigbar are having some kind of Western standoff. So they walk up to each other. Zigbar shoots, Sora dodges, and then he shoots his Keyblade, and it says excellent on there. I'm assuming the excellent would only show up on there if it's a reaction command, or if it's just one like what we did in Ariel's world, which is just press a button and that's it. And it can only be done in those scenes, which would really suck because I really miss the reaction commands from Kingdom Hearts 2. So the next scene that they show here is Aqua and Ventus versus Terra, where they do this really cool surfing Zegra kind of thing, which freaking awesome. It looks like Aqua freezes the Ventus's Keyblade, Ventus surfs on the Keyblade, and Aqua is controlling it, and they make it hit Terranord. Now, I think this actually confirms what I said earlier about you being able to play through the game without Sora, and that actually makes the game a lot more interesting, adds diversity to it, and it makes the final battles of the organization for every character a lot more meaningful. Because Sora actually doesn't have a lot to do, or should not be involved in half of these fights the way he is. I'm actually going to come back to this fight because something happens later on in the video. The next scene that they show might show the motivations for Xehanort to do everything that he did. And that's crazy. It's a scene between the Master of Masters and young Xehanort. And here what happens is the Master of Masters says, it would be stupid to let false light dictate what happens to the world. And he tells Xehanort, you can change that. So I think what happens is the Master of Masters puts a crazy idea in Xehanort's mind, and now Xehanort is going through his entire life trying to change everything, the way everything is happening. And I think this is the scene. This is going back to the past. This is going to be at the end of the game, or maybe at the end where we beat Xehanort. We get to see what happens and why he decides to do what he does. This is going to be really important to this entire series. It's going to show us what Xehanort is doing and why he's doing it. The next scene that I'm looking at here is a scene between Sora and Naminé, and this is the scene that I was saying connects back to Ventus and Aqua versus Terra. Basically, Sora says, if anything happens to them, if any kind of damage happens to them, that could be bad for Terra, or maybe bad for Terra mentally. So essentially, Sora tells Naminé go back to, it was called the Final World, but now he calls it the ocean and land, I believe. Give me a second. He calls it the world of ocean and sky. So just right now, I'm gonna say this: they changed the name. I'm not gonna say retcon. I'm just gonna say they changed the name of the final world to the world of ocean and sky. So what I'm thinking is happening here is that Sora has gone to try awakening Terra, but he hasn't been able to find a way to do it. And the reason that Naminé is there is because Naminé is linked to Terra by Lingering Will. And that's what we find out if you went to the cutscenes in the now called The World of Ocean and Sky. If you go to the cutscenes there, one of them is Naminé, and she says she has some kind of strong bond with them. And we actually do find out about this bond during one of the Orchestra trailers, or one of the Orchestra concerts, where they just reveal some of the dialogue between the two of them. If you go back to the video that I did before my hiatus, I talk about things that Kingdom Hearts Remind could add on to it. I'm happy to say that half of them have come true so far, but most importantly, the one that I really wanted is an expansion on the Keyblade Graveyard in Skyline and Kylum. I don't know about Skyline and Kylum, but Keyblade Graveyard looks like it's being expanded in this scene right here, which is Lingering Will facing off against Terranord. So what I'm thinking this is again, it's not necessarily going to be in the after the game. I think it's going to be the scene where Terranord flies off, and Lingering Will chases after him. We get to see that fight, or we get to do that fight as Lingering Will. So this has me really hyped because, I mean, I hope that they give us all the combos that Lingering Will has, but chances are they're just going to give us the basic controls as Terra has in Birth by Sleep. But this adds diversity to the game because this adds another playable character in Lingering Will. And of course, we expect Lingering Will to lose because Terranord is facing off against Aqua and Ventus later. But that's fine because eventually they all Terra comes back. Okay, so that's it for the video. I have nothing else to say. I actually wasn't that hyped when I first watched the video about 3 hours ago. I was, how do I say this? I didn't find it exciting in any way, mainly because I couldn't understand what they were saying because they didn't have any subtitles at the time. But I also just, it's been a while, and they didn't really show too much that was too exciting. But after I dissected it piece by piece, I realized maybe this is a little bit more hype than I realized originally, which is what I used to do before I started trying to do YouTube. Now, I'm gonna try doing more videos every now and then, maybe when they release more information. But for now, this is all I'm gonna do. This is the last video for a while. I just thought I would inform you guys because I did promise you guys some information. Um, I actually do have a bunch of gameplay stored on my Black Black Ice videos list. I just never posted them, about 40 of them. I could literally post one a week for the next 40 weeks, but I haven't done it. I'm gonna wait a little bit for, I guess, when the what's called Remind comes a little closer. For now, that would do it. This is Black Slice signing out, as always, with the wink.